Welcome YouTube land, Tycondrius here, doing another action figure review, and today we're doing a review of the Containment Chaos Pack, or Velociraptor Containment Chaos Pack from the Target store from the Jurassic World Legacy Collection. Now, this is a Target exclusive in the States as far as I know. I'm not sure if it was released anywhere in Europe as far as I'm aware. I think the only place I've seen this is in the States, but it may have been released in Smith's outside of Ireland. I have noticed that some of the European versions of Smiths have gotten other stuff that we haven't gotten over here, which is kind of disappointing. But it is what it is. But I ended up getting this set from a good buddy, Frank Nash, over in the States. He picked this up for me and sent it to me, which is great. It's one of the ones I've been looking forward to. It is a really cool set. So here is the box for it. Now, obviously, everything is out of the box. You have the cage piece is here in the corner. The three figures are showcased here, and the Velociraptor and the accessories are up along the top. There is instructions on how to assemble the cage, because if I flip around the back of the box, you can see the cage is fairly big, but the box itself is actually quite small. It's a bit misconceiving because you think it's a very small cage, but the way it is you only see one plate out of the parts that combine to make the cage at the front of the box, and then the rest of it's all hidden, packaged away in behind. There is also a glow-in-the-dark gimmick. I'm not sure if you can see that here. Just up here, it's mentioned that there is a glow-in-the-dark gimmick for the raptor's eyes. I believe this is the only Velociraptor that has this, so it is unique to this set. So without further ado, we'll have a quick look at the set itself. So you get three figures. You get Muldoon, and you get two park employees that are supposed to be the containment team, or well, the whatchamacallit team. What would you call them? I suppose containment team. Basically, they're the guys for loading and unloading the animals into the various paddocks. So you get three accessories that they can hold. You get the shotgun for Muldoon, which is the same shotgun that the first version of this figure came with. You get a shock stick, which is similar to the large scale one that came with the Muldoon, the Hammond, not the Hammond collection, but the Amber collection version of Muldoon. And then you get this spotlight piece, which can go in either hand of the guys. It is a shame that there is a little bit less, well, not less accessories. There's quite a lot of accessories, but there's no duplicate accessory. I wish there was two of these shock stick things, because you really only have one guy with the shock stick, and then the other one, or the electro baton, whatever way you want to call it, and the other guy has the torch, basically. You have kind of one Caucasian and one, I'm assuming is supposed to be, was it Costa Rican? I think it was Costa Rican. I'm assuming he's supposed to be one of the Costa Rican employees. He could be African American, or well, African, whichever way you want to put it. They both come with a vest that can be put over their body. It's kind of like an armored vest. You can see there's two clips on these that just clip in place, and then the vest is a slightly pliable plastic, but it does fit over. You also get one set of these, which is a knee pad. You could probably give a knee pad to each person so they can do a kneeling pose, but I think it's intended that one guy has both. So you have that, and then for the added little extra piece, which is kind of a nice nod, or a nice deal, you have this little slot on the back of the gear, and you have these little walkie-talkies, and the walkie-talkies can actually fit into these holsters, which is kind of nice. It is a shame that they kind of don't fit. They do fit this way, but you lose the detail. The aerial kind of is more visible than having it the opposite way around. But I'm not sure if you can see this, but on the very front of one side of the walkie-talkie, there is actually detailing, because if I flip it around, it's just plain on one side. There's a couple of switches, kind of aerial parts, and then there's like the speaker part on them, and I'm assuming it's designed so that the speaker part is facing forward, or not facing forward, facing backward. So you have that. Articulation on these figures all are the same, so I'm going to just run down on one guy, but everyone else has the same articulation. So you have the arms can rotate around, arms can swing out that much. You have a ball joint on the head, but you only really have a swivel on it. You kind of get a little bit of up and down, but not much. There is a waist swivel. Now the waist swivel on the employees kind of cuts through their shirt that they're wearing, so it does look a bit awkward. They can do the splits that much. They have a single jointed knee with a swivel. They have a kind of hip rotation. Other than the shoulder joint that can go out, can rotate all the way around, they have a single jointed elbow. And it may be, I know it looks misleading that they might have a wrist swivel, but they don't. It's just the way they're designed. The bodies for the two kind of generic employees are basically the same, which is they have like a grey jumpsuit on, or is kind of a overalls kind of look to them. And then they have the Jurassic Park logo on their hard hat and on the left shoulder, which is nice. So they do have some kind of tempos on them. I'm going to throw this thing back onto this guy. We will get to the Velociraptor and its containment cage in a sec. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a setup so I can do the glow-in-the-dark eyes on it, but it is a kind of, it's a nice feature. It's not brilliant. I mean, it's not a, it's, the mainstay of the set is really the container and the actual, these guys, the two generic employee guys. The Muldoon figure is exactly the same from what I can tell of the previous Muldoon figure. They might have just slightly redid the kind of paint apps for the face. Yeah, it does look like he has a bit more of a photorealistic face going on, but other than that, it's the same kind of, same sculpt, same paint apps for the most of the body. Even the skin tones seem to be exactly the same, so there isn't much difference. It's just one face looks a bit more glossier than the other. I'm not sure if that's coming across on camera, but that's the only thing I can tell. Maybe it's just because this one's way older. They paint, you know, it hasn't had a chance to kind of change with the open air or sunlight or anything like that. It could be that after a while he'll end up looking like this, but for now he kind of has a slightly different lip paint application and just slightly more glossy look to his skin on his face than the original. They both came with the same shotgun, the kind of iconic one that he has in the movie where it kind of has that folding stock. And this is the Hammond Collection version of Muldoon. He is a good bit different to the Hammond Collection. So you can see they actually did change up the paint, or the shirt is a separate piece. The undershirt is pretty much the same color, but the outer overshirt, or the waistcoat, is more of a tan on the Hammond Collection than the kind of beige that it is on the Legacy. One thing I prefer, this is the one that came with the Hammond Collection. The shotgun has the underslung piece on it. I prefer the one that comes with the Legacy because it's easier. It doesn't look as messy when it's in the figure's hand for the Hammond Collection, but it is a nice piece. So moving the basic figures aside, we shall have a look at the cage and the animal that is contained within. So the cage is literally a direct replication of the one that you see at the very start of the movie, in that opening sequence of the original Jurassic Park movie. It's like the one that comes in on the big on the fork truck, and it lowers down and they slide it into place. It's a very good replication of that cage. It is in several parts. So as I said, when you see it in the box, you only see this side, I believe. But the bottom plate, the top plate, the door, the opposite side, and this rear plate are all pegged together. Now you can probably take it apart once you have them clicked in place. I haven't actually tried to, I don't know if it's intended like some of the dinosaurs, where the dinosaurs' tails were once you plug them in, you weren't able to unplug them. I'm not sure if this is the same thing, but I haven't tried unplugging it. I know the front gate piece, which does work just like it does in the movie. It looks like in the movie, does pop out. So I would assume that you could disassemble it just in case you need to reassemble it without breaking any parts. But contained within is the Velociraptor. Now, I believe this isn't a new sculpt for the Velociraptor. I believe it's one of the previous ones. I think it might even be the one that came with the Dominion version 2-pack of Ian Malcolm, the older Ian Malcolm, and the green Velociraptor that he comes with. I think it might be the same sculpt as that. I don't have that one handy, unfortunately, for me to do a comparison with. But one thing of note that I find interesting is it is different to the usual depiction of the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park. This is the one that came with the was it the kitchen set, the kitchen escape set, I think, the one that comes with Lex and Tim. And you can see it is a different sculpt, different body sculpt. The heads kind of generally tend to be the same, but it is different. It's not, and the color pattern is quite different. It doesn't look like the same kind of Velociraptor species, if you know what I mean. This one actually looks more like the Ilasorna ones. Now this is just another Velociraptor, and I believe this is supposed to be kind of like the tiger stripe ones from Jurassic Park Lost World. I could be wrong, but it has more kind of brownish and kind of more orange skin tone with the brown stripes, which is what this one kind of looks like. So I'm not sure if the one in the first part of the film is the same one that's supposed to be the leader of the pack of Velociraptors. Is when you meet Muldoon later on, when they're saying that when they introduced that particular raptor, it killed all the others except for a couple of them. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the same one that's in that cage scene at the start, or if it's one that gets ultimately destroyed at the very start. Because if you're familiar with that scene, you know that when things go wrong, all the guys kind of, basically all the containment team, go around the cage and start either using these things, the shock sticks, or to get the creature back, or you can kind of hear them firing at her as well. So I'm not sure if they're like tranquilizers, or supposedly they're using real live rounds to possibly destroy the animal. I'm sure hopefully someone in the comments will kind of correct me if I'm wrong or not. I think the one that was in the cage is one that is ultimately destroyed at the start of the movie, and it's not one that you see later on in the movie. Again, as I said, it could be wrong. It could be the same one that you see when Muldoon goes clever girl, because they all have a very similar look, especially to my eyes. I can't really distinguish the difference in the scale patterns between all the Velociraptors in the movie. They all look kind of the same to me, but they could be slightly different patterns to them all. But the Velociraptor looks pretty cool. Articulation on the Velociraptor, I should go into that. Head has that kind of hinge with a swivel, and then the arms and legs are just on swivels. The tail does have a bit of a swivel, but it's more just the way it's been attached. And then it has the data apps thing. So if you have the data app, you can scan it and it gives you the information. And as I said, the eyes on this one are glow in the dark. It's kind of to represent that slight scene when you see it just through the grating of the actual cage. You see the lights, the kind of glow of the eye. I think that's what that's supposed to represent. But it is a really cool, really nicely done Velociraptor, even if it doesn't look the same as the one that came with the, the later or the earlier Lex and Tim pack. And again, the other Velociraptors from the Jurassic Park line all tend to be this kind of more browny, kind of brown beige color than this particular color. And just for a size comparison, we'll bring in one of the more commonly known mercenary figures, so you can see the scale of that. We'll bring in a Joy Toy mechanic figure, so the Joy Toy stuff does tend to stand a bit taller because that is in true 4-inch scale, where these guys, if I can dig out where I put my tape measure, unfortunately I don't see it, these guys stand around 3 3/4 inch. So I just bring in the old tape measure. These guys are more 3 3/4 inch, so they would be in scale with stuff more like, do I have anything else that's in the 3 3/4 inch? Kind of more the Star Wars figures, I suppose. They're a bit more 3 3/4 inch than the 4-inch, so you do have that. And do I have anyone else from a different line that I could chuck in there? Unfortunately, dig them out without knocking everything over. Good old Hiya Toys Robocop. Now I believe he's more 4-inch than 3 3/4 inch, or 1/18 scale. But you can see the height of them with the Velociraptors and the figures that come included in the set. So all in all, it is a really good set. As I said, I think it is Target exclusive as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong, could be Walmart. It's one of the 2 stores. It is a store exclusive. They did have a kind of a sale on it at one point, but I think it's gone back to its normal retail price at the moment. So, and it depends on how stock available is. So if you really want this set, I do recommend getting it, but don't pay the astronomical eBay prices people were looking for this set. I think it normally retails around $30 for the regular price, and people, when it first came out on eBay, were kind of wanting anywhere between, I think it's like 60 to 80 plus on it. So try and get it for a reasonable price if you can. And my only gripe about this set really is I wish these generic troop figures, or generic kind of park employee guys, were a bit more readily available, because it makes for great scenes being able to recreate this whole sequence with a whole bunch of these guys, because I think there was about 10 or 12 of them in the scene in the first place, not including Muldoon, and I think there's a few other people in the background that you see as well. But overall, it is a really cool set, and if these guys were released, even if they released these guys and the ACU guys from Jurassic World, I know they release an ACU looking figure with a really hard to get set, so if they re-release 2 of these and 2 of those in a kind of Army Builder 2-pack, I think people would actually buy those up. That's just my 2 cents, but maybe I'm wrong. I know some people whinge that the human characters aren't great. Some people really like the human characters. I suppose it's all a matter of your opinion. But for me, I really like the kind of generic human characters that you could army build, potentially army build. That's why I picked up a bunch of these guys and just recolored hair on them and made them look different. But other than that, it is a good set. So I'm going to wrap this up here, and I hope you enjoyed this quick video review of the Jurassic Park Containment Chaos Pack, or the Velociraptor Containment Chaos Pack. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please share the video with people so I can get more views and potentially more subscribers. So cheers guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, hope you have a great day. Cheers.